Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, it's some Wolf talking today. Well, I'm going to talk about a subject that's not really fun. And it kind of holds a little special thing for me, even though I wasn't there. Because you see, in 2 days, it'll have been 20 years since the Columbine shooting. I'm just going like, oh my god, has it really been 20 years? But 1999, kids that day lost their lives who would be as old as I am now, or around my age. And it's just so hard to think that so many of them lost their lives. And, it was supposed to be the safe time, the middle of the assault weapon ban. We were in the middle of it. It's been passed in like 93, 94. It's supposed to be safe. Kids weren't supposed to be shot at school. But here we are. What was it? 20 some odd kids plus the two shooters killing themselves and a couple adults who lost their lives that day. And it kind of holds a special place to me because that day I was just a sophomore in high school, and a lot of us were like, "Oh my God, could that happen here?" And it was after that day. Every day when we went to lunch, there was a cop standing outside the principal's office, locked, cocked, and ready to rock. Which every once in a while we had a resource officer swing by. The cop, it's always hanging around at school. But after that day, he was basically there every day till I graduated 2 years later. It was just a shock to so many systems because up until that point, yeah, we'd had a kid here and there on the news killed at school, but there was that shooter back in the '60s, long before I was born, who killed a bunch of people at that college, but nothing quite as visceral as what happened on Columbine that day. So yeah, I know some of you were just little kids. I mean, hell, I know the rookie critic, youngin' that he is, he was about 2, maybe 3 years old when Columbine happened, so he wouldn't have a clear cut memory of it. I know Flip would probably remember it, though he probably wasn't in high school, he's a little older than I am. Angus is probably around my age, if I recall, so he probably remembers it quite vividly. Sith Kryptonian, he's about rookie's age, going through the founding fathers, so he probably wouldn't remember quite as much. He probably heard about it growing up. But for like guys like me, Flip, and Angus, that was very visceral to us. I would bet. I know it was very visceral to me. I mean, granted, I grew up in sunny Silicon Valley, California, where that stuff really didn't happen, and we were at a very low odd for that to happen. But certain schools in San Jose, I could see someone going off the handle like that and going on a shooting spree. Certain places in LA, oh God, yes, I could see something like that happen. Oakland, absolutely. But yeah, it's just it was one of those terrible days that it's one of those things you just don't really forget. Just like some other terrible things that have happened over the course of my life that I'll never forget. I remember the Challenger exploding live on TV as a kid. I was watching it with my dad because at that time I was NASA mad. I loved NASA, I loved space shuttles, and I wanted to know everything about it. And just watching that shuttle explode as a little kid, I just kind of looked at my dad and I was like, "Dad," he's like, and my dad's face was just, that stunned look of, "Oh my God, did that just really happen?" Other things I'll never forget. O.J. Simpson trial got read over the middle school announcement about the verdict because it was such a hot button topic at the time. Uh, when Columbine happened, I remember I remember hearing about it and was just like, wait, what? And the news coverage about that. Of course, I remember exactly where I was when 9/11 happened. I remember where I was when the election got announced for Barack Obama and thinking, okay, this could be something great. I remember where I was when the San Francisco Giants finally won their first World Series in 2010. My boy got on the phone and literally was calling me, dude, Giants are about to win the World Series. I turned it on and watched the last inning. stuff like that. But Columbine, yeah, that was definitely that was definitely kind of a world shattering experience for a lot of us because it woke us up to we were kind of living in an idyllic dream world, and bad stuff could still happen to people who didn't deserve it. And I can only imagine the grief and sorrow 20 years later for some of the parents, friends, colleagues who had to live through that tragic day. Because two men, as we say today, completely black pilled out, but instead of just, you know, you know, as terrible as it sounds, just, suiciding out. And yes, I know it sounds terrible, but you know what? Better than just, go off in a quiet bang than going out and killing a group of people for no reason. Even though I wish those two would just have gotten help and not gone down such a self-destructive path, but they just had to do the worst thing possible. And the only thing I can say out of that day is thank whatever deity you pray to that them two knuckleheads, those two crazy SOBs, didn't know what the hell they were doing when it came to those pipe bombs. The death toll could have been far, far worse. So yeah, just 20 years later, remembering Columbine, remember being a sophomore in high school and just being like, oh my God, how could this happen? Yeah, that was definitely somewhat of a world-shattering event for me, even though I wasn't actually there. It definitely changed a lot of worldviews. So, down in the comments below, especially if you were in high school at the time, where were you and what did it do to you? Because I know it, as much as it didn't hit home for some of us who weren't at Columbine, it still hit home with some kind of force that this kind of thing could happen anywhere. In a sleepy town in Colorado, in the middle of, metropolitan area, bad things could happen. Anyways, let me know in the comments below. I know it's kind of a sad topic and a sad day, and maybe I'll convince the guys to do a live stream and talk about it and open up a little bit about it. But anyways, I'm the Wolf. That's my video for the day. I'll catch y'all later.